the harsh
No,
biological...
man, the elites of society, the puppeteers, they actually want the opposite, man, believe it or not, okay? They don't want men to be docile. They want men to be fucking psychopaths that want to shoot and kill so they can send us to die for Israel. For oil and Israel. That's what they want, unironically, man. That's what that's obviously what they want. The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, they want us to be mad at the Muslims and then we go kill, okay? And to get the oil. That's what it's about to them. They want the fucking materials. They want the natural resources. Okay? And, you know, of course, the wave of refugees, that's like, you know, that's a nice addition, you know, a new exploitable immigrant underclass, okay, of course, okay, fucking weak, baby hand men aren't gonna go die for Israel. They're not gonna do that. Stupid, manipulatable, psychopathic, testosterone, man, that's who's gonna go kill the Muslims for the oil, man, that's it. Okay, so... like, who wants this? You need to be specific. Okay, who are the elites that want us to be soy-pilled, beta baby hand, okay, soft hand losers that can't bench 150 or whatever? We're reacting to Jimmy Talks. This video is titled... This one... Look, this one, I think this one's gonna be funny. Okay, I think this is gonna be a good one. This video is titled, How, and Why Modern Dating is Cooked and Finished! And How to Combat It! Sorry for yelling, okay, that was the video title, though. I wasn't exaggerating, okay, that's actually how we worded it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jimmy Talks.
Look, Jimmy, okay, the title is too much. That's my point. Like, you need to work on that.
This is a
very too many caps.
Important video. This is not geopolitics.
Like, you're supposed to capitalize words that... not capitalize, but you're supposed to all caps words that, like, that you want to... you want them to be punchy, right? You want to accentuate it. Okay? And when you do that to every... you know, but when you do that to half the words in the title, then it doesn't do anything. Okay, that's it.
Like I normally do, and I know
so
most
do
of you
better.
watch my videos for that sort of stuff, but I like to talk about everything here. This channel started off as self-improvement.
Yeah. We like to talk about fucking how women don't want to fuck me. Yeah, man.
It's going to have a mix of a little bit of everything in there. So, all
right, hey, I'll be right back.
So before we even get into all of this, I need you to do me a favor. If you are sitting there staring at the screen, like you're sitting at your computer or whatnot, just stop. Put the phone in your pocket.
Hey, that's what I'm
put the
doing.
Screen face down on the passenger seat if you're driving, which is when I listen to YouTube the most personally, or just minimize the tab. The gameplay in the background is just there for the algorithm. I don't care about the visuals, and neither should you. This video is designed
just there for the algo? What? You think the algorithm cares that your footage is gameplay? What? Just for the algorithm. No, man. You actually believe this? You're a YouTuber. How long have you been doing this? I mean, I guess it's only been like a year, but like... dude, that's not how it works. Okay, that's not... the algorithm doesn't care about your footage. You could put a blank screen up, and it wouldn't matter, okay? What matters is the viewer. Okay, and the reason that gameplay footage works for content like this... like, I put gameplay footage up in my videos. It's for retention. Okay, like, people click on the video to listen to me. Maybe, yeah, like, you could watch my videos without looking at my face, without looking at the video. That's fine. You know, I don't mind if people do that. You know, of course. But, like, the gameplay is there. If you want something to look at, you can watch my epic gameplay, okay? You can watch me play Grand Theft Auto or System Shock, or those are the games I've been playing lately. Whatever the fuck I'm playing. Okay? So, that's it. I mean, like, people be liking gaming content, okay? That is why you're doing it. It's not for the fucking algorithm. Okay, except it kind of is for the algorithm, but indirectly. Okay, like, the algorithm cares about your retention, right? How long people watch your videos, right? The average view duration, and there's another metric. It's escaped my mind. I can't remember what it is, but I think it's actually more important than average view duration. But watch time, total watch time. Yeah. So the gameplay, it gets people to marginally, on average, watch your video longer because they have something fun to watch while they're listening to you. Okay, in case they don't want to do the dishes or whatever else. That's what it's for, man. Okay, you like what the fuck? Like you don't want people to watch your videos? You don't want them to watch it. You just want them to listen to your shitty. But why don't you do radio? Why don't you fucking do one of those kinds of broadcasts, right? Like do a podcast, do something else. Like I don't know. Like this kind of this format isn't for everyone. If you don't like your footage, right? Because that's kind of what you're implying here, is that you're sort of ashamed in a way. Maybe not. Maybe ashamed. Maybe shame isn't the right word. But like you don't really like your content, that your gameplay, just don't include it. It doesn't help with the algorithm or whatever. Put something there visually that you like. Okay, if it's B-roll, like you were doing in that one video, but that footage is, B-roll footage is kind of hard to get a hold of, or at least good footage is, without getting like copyright strike taken down. Anyway. I'll be right back.
To listen to. So if you're driving, or if you're maybe lifting in the gym, or you're doing chores around the house, or you're cooking or something like that, just turn the volume up and listen to the words. That's what this is all about. So I need you to listen closely, because what I want to talk about is the absolute bedrock of your survival as an American man. We are living in a time where the very concept of masculinity, of the traditional family, and of a stable nation is under a coordinated, deliberate, and relentless attack. And the absolute tragedy of all of this is that millions of guys out there are walking right into the slaughterhouse. And they have a smile on their face, and they have no idea what's going on, because they don't understand the rules of the game that they are playing. They are operating on outdated programming. They have been fed a bunch of lies since they were kids, and they are paying for it with their sanity and their bank accounts, and potentially even their whole entire future. So I want you to know what exactly is going on with women and dating. I'm going to teach you how to protect yourself as well when it comes to this. Just stick around for the rest of this. Now, let's start by laying the groundwork. With what I said, they were fed lies and they have no idea what's going on. We will simply call this the old contract. So you may be asking, Jimmy, what does the old contract mean? What do you mean by that exactly? And what I mean exactly by that is the dating and marriage relationship dynamic. So why don't we go all the way back in the history of the United States? And I mean the real history, like the gritty, sweat-soaked reality that was blood, sweat, and tears of how this country was forged. Not whatever watered-down, revisionist, anti-American garbage they teach nowadays in college and in a corporate company, DEI, HR-sponsored event. But anyways, you will see that the United States was built on a very specific, unspoken agreement between men and women. It was a foundational social contract. It was not based on Disney movies and how they make you feel. It wasn't based on finding your soulmate and being able to manifest them, whatever that means. It also was not based on astrology signs, and it certainly wasn't based on just temporary emotional feelings. It was based on a cold, hard, biological, and economic reality.
So he was saying earlier that like the way they teach about American history in college or in school or whatever isn't gritty? The implication being he doesn't like what they teach, okay, but obviously he doesn't like what they teach because it doesn't paint America in as a perfect little country that didn't ever genocide the indigenous population. How is that not gritty? Okay, I think that like doing a genocide, enslaving people, that's kind of gritty, don't you think? I don't know, man.
Think about the men who settled the frontier.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Who drove the spikes down to build the railroads across extremely unforgiving terrain. And the men who stormed the beaches in the world wars. The men who laid the brick and mortar and steel.
They teach about that in school.
The world has ever seen.
They teach about all of that in school.
Those men did not endure that backbreaking labor, the horrible weather, the freezing cold, the super hot, and also the physical danger just for the fun of it. They did not wake up every day and go into the coal mines because they were, air quote, finding themselves. They did it because they had a duty, and they did it in exchange for something very specific. Now, the old contract was a trade. The man provided the physical security, he provided the financial resources, he provided the shelter, and he also provided the fact that he would be willing to lay down his life to protect his property and anything that's bad that could happen to it, as well as his wife. He was the shield of the house, and he was also the engine that kept it running, just like a car. In exchange, the woman that he was with provided loyalty and submitted to his authority as the head of the household, and also made the house a peaceful place. And she managed the house, and she also raised the children that would carry on his name and his values and his legacy. This contract worked. This is how humans operated up until very recent times. This wasn't a suggestion either. This was the biological and economic reality of human civilization. This is just how it works. So when you have a traditional family like this creates a stable, cohesive unit, so to say, of people. This is called the nuclear family, which is the absolute prerequisite. It is 100% necessary for a strong country.
What? What, you think that the nuclear family? What? Man, the nuclear family is not the foundation of this country, dumbass. The nuclear family was an invention of you know, the nuclear times when we like started using nuclear technology. That's why it's called that. The nuclear the wife, the house, the picket fence, the 2 cars, the kids. Yeah, he's right that well, no, I mean, he's fucking wrong. Families looked a lot different from the nuclear family before the invention of the nuclear family. Okay, like, we didn't all live in little suburbs with the dog and the 1.5 kids and the 2.5 kids and the picket fence and the wife. Like, no. Anyway,
can't have a free country, a sovereign country, without strong families. It doesn't matter what country you're in, if it's the United States or not. It's totally necessary. The government didn't need to micromanage your wife, or tax you into oblivion, or set up a massive bureaucratic welfare agency because the family unit just regulated itself. Both parties had skin in the game.
Wait, what do you mean they didn't micromanage your wife? Your wife wasn't allowed to make any decisions without you, or fucking, but like the state wouldn't let her move freely without her husband, or like parents, or whatever, or father. You know, couldn't borrow money, couldn't open a bank account, couldn't vote, couldn't get an abortion. Yeah, that all kind of sounds like micromanaging to me. I don't know.
They took care of that person. Both parties fundamentally needed each other to survive. For example, if a man failed
but even if you don't believe me with that, how does the state micromanage women today? Because that's the implication. Like, you said the state didn't micromanage your woman back then, but now they do? How? I mean, women don't have access to abortions now. That's one thing. You know, they're micromanaging their bodies. That's not really the word I would use anyway, micromanaging. But I mean, I'm trying to go with what you're saying, man. Okay, I'm trying to.
If, you know, he was a drunk,
I'm just asking
he was
questions.
He was lazy. He didn't want to work. He was socially outcasted. He was shunned by his community. And on the other side, if a woman failed to be a loyal wife, and if she was promiscuous or rebellious against her family duties, she was also a social outcast. The societal shame mechanism enforced this contract. This is how humans have worked since the dawn of time. And because of that accountability, our ancestors were able to build the greatest nation that has ever been made on the face of the earth. They were able to build the United States of America, a civilization that was the envy of the entire planet. Sorry for everybody else that watches my videos that isn't American, but we're American patriots here. We're nationalists. We love this country. Given all the problems we have, this is still a country worth fighting for. But I digress. Anyways, now we're going over the old contract. Now, why don't we look at the new contract? Let's take a look around today. Just open your eyes and step outside your front door and look at the state of this country, especially if you, unfortunately, live in a major city in a not-so-nice part of town. The old contract that we just spoke about is dead. It's gone. It is completely, irreversibly, and undeniably dead. And this was not
an accident. Waited.
It didn't just fade away because of a natural societal progression or something like that. It was deliberately murdered in cold blood with a knife. Now, starting a few decades ago,
easy mode right now. There's like barely any zombies.
The international banking cartels, all the corporations, and social engineers realized something that was very important, and that is a strong, independent American family headed by a strong, independent American man.
Sorry, I'm not going to show his gameplay, but he's playing Left 4 Dead. That's what I'm watching right now, and he sucks at video games. Let's be for real.
Power. A man who
yo, throwback to when Jimmy Talk said, what did he say? He said it takes him hours to get good footage in fucking fuck, what game is it? Modern Warfare 2. It takes him hours, and in that footage that takes him hours to get, he fucking dies over and over again. He fucking sucks.
And a man who
oh shit, it's so funny.
Does not need the government. He cannot be.
Why are you so bad at video games, man?
He can't be easily controlled by
maybe if you weren't like a violent racist, you wouldn't be so terrible.
Now, you may ask yourself, how exactly did they do it, though? That seems like a massive undertaking. Are you sure this is a big conspiracy? Well, first, I'll tell you how, and it happened right underneath our noses. First, they gutted the economic foundation of the American working man. We all feel this today. Gas is insane, rent is insane, groceries are insane, just to exist is insane. The globalists ship your grandfathers and your fathers manufacturing jobs overseas to places like China and Mexico through disastrous trade deals. Big example of this one is NAFTA. They intentionally deindustrialized the nation, which stagnated wages for men, and they made it very hard for a single man to support a family on just one income. Essentially, they forced women out of the home and into the workforce just to make ends meet, which is just completely upends the domestic balance that we had in the old contract. Then they stepped in and replaced you. They created a massive, bloated, taxpayer-funded welfare state that looked at women and said, you don't need a husband. You have the government. If you leave him, we will give you housing, we will give you food stamps, and we will force him to pay you through the state, aka alimony. If you don't pay this alimony, we'll send men with guns, aka the police, to his door to put him in a jail.
Yeah, I mean, that's not really how I see it at all. I mean, yeah, divorce court is fucked up. It's really fucked up. It's like I always say, divorce court has radicalized a lot of men in this country. Divorce court has, like, created this whole fucking problem. Divorce court is the worst thing that has ever happened to this country, maybe. Maybe, I don't know. It's up there. It's up there. Anyway, that's not really what happened, though, man. Okay, women were given more autonomy, okay, but in the before time, they weren't allowed to divorce their husbands. They couldn't leave. They were stuck. If you were a woman and you married a man and he turned out to beat the shit out of you, you know, after the honeymoon phase, well, tough shit, you know, just fucking suck it up, okay? Just, that's it, okay?
At the same time,
yeah, but that was so much better, though.
The public school systems, Hollywood, and corporate HR departments.
You're so right, bro.
They generations of women to believe that relying on a man was somehow, air quotes, oppressive, and that motherhood was a, air quotes, burden,
it is,
and that the nuclear family was a tool of the, air quotes, patriarchy, and that being an independent, miserable, childless girl boss in a cubicle at Jewish daycare was the highest form of virtue.
I mean, no, man, it's not. Being a worker sucks. Right? Even working in an office, even being a white-collar worker, it sucks. But blue-collar work, it sucks. So women were given the opportunity to get jobs, right? And then they found out, like, oh, wait, this shit sucks. Okay, that doesn't mean that they were wrong for wanting equality. It just means that this shit sucks. That's all it means, man. That's it.
Female survival away from male providing. A modern woman today does not fundamentally need a man to survive. She can get a corporate email job that's useless, that's mandated by DEI. That's the only reason she got hired with all these quotas. Or, if that fails, she can fall back on a massive social safety net paid for by the tax dollars.
No, she got hired because she's more educated than you on average, dumbass. Especially you. Because you're a fucking moron. You probably dropped out of fucking middle school or some shit. That's how stupid you are. You probably didn't go to school. You probably lived in the woods for your entire life, and you crawled out of the woods, and you were like, I'm gonna be a fucking racist YouTuber now, okay? I'm gonna be a racist, misogynistic YouTuber. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kidding, of course, but anyway. Women are, they are more likely to get a degree, and then they go on to get these email jobs that you talk about, okay, bureaucratic, white-collar, corporate jobs. This is true, okay? It's not women's fault. It's not. Women are just taking advantage of the opportunities that were given to them, right? That were not always given, that were not always promised to them. Okay, women, back in the before time, they couldn't get a job. They couldn't get no job. They had to marry a man to, you know, get the job for them. That was bad. That was not good. That was like more like a hostage situation than a marriage. And so you know, women getting more jobs, it's not their fault that they're smarter than you, bro. You're stupid. A lot of people are smarter than you, not just women. Okay? okay?
Be extracted from you and your paycheck. If you don't pay taxes, you'll go to jail. And because she no longer needs you for her survival, the leverage that held the old contract together, the glue, has completely evaporated into thin air. It no longer exists. Yet, why do I see every single day in the comments and Twitter doom scrolling, on X, you see it on TikTok, Instagram, it doesn't really matter, or even out in the real world, I see good, hardworking, patriotic American men who are still blindly trying to play by the rules of the old contract. You are out there working 60 to 80 hours a week, destroying your joints, stressing yourself into an early grave, trying to be the good guy and the traditional provider for women who have absolutely zero intention on honoring their side of the bargain.
Okay, before the woman thing, he makes a good point there, okay? Yeah, like, people be working themselves to the bone. I think it's gotten worse. Because think about it, like, the economy sucks, so people with jobs, they're working a lot more, a lot harder to make ends meet, okay? It's bad. It's not because of women. It's because of the system. Okay, it's not because women be whores or whatever.
We're trying to offer a traditional old world provision to modern women who actively despise traditional values. They want your money, they want your resources.
Damn, I wonder why. Yo, why do women hate the idea of being fucking enslaved servants, basically, to their husbands? Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. That's a head scratcher.
And they want your
That's
status.
a real head scratcher, bro.
You ask for loyalty or respect or
oh man, why don't women want this?
In return, they look at you like you're a tyrant. You're a bad guy. You shouldn't be asking for that. What are you, oppressive? Are you insecure, buddy? They run to their group chats. They'll post about you online. You'll go viral. They call you toxic or controlling. You are playing a game.
Does this happen to you, bro? Did this happen? This doesn't sound like a hypothetical. Okay, I mean, I know it happens. Of course it does. People like you exist. Did they hurt your feelings, bro? Did the girlies hurt your feelings? Aw, man. You wanna know what I would do if a woman posted about me? I wouldn't give a fuck. Because I don't got nothing to feel bad about. I'd be like, whatever. I wouldn't go on YouTube and make a video about how, like, women need to get back in the kitchen, you dumb fuck, you fucking moron.
They already know which ones are winning. The dealer is bribed.
Like seriously, if you think that you're right and the women are wrong, then what? Just shut the fuck up. Like, don't be like, oh, women were mean to me. Women posted about me. They don't like what I'm saying because I'm trad. I'm a chud. I'm a base chud.
Your chips into the pot.
I'm a lonely chud.
You are just volunteering for indentured servitude. The old contract is gone. The state.
Yeah, you're volunteering for no pussy by being a dipshit conservative on the internet. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. I am a chud. I am a rizless chud.
And until you accept that harsh, uncomfortable reality, you're going to continue to be a victim of it. Now, let's call feminism exactly what it is. It is the most successful, destructive psyop ever perpetrated against the human race. It was sold to the American public as equality. It was marketed as a noble liberation movement. But in practice, as we're all seeing today, it was a wrecking ball for society and civilization. It took the most sacred, fundamental dynamic in human history that we just talked about.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it actually exposed something within our society. Very, very interestingly, in very interesting fashion. Okay, because think about it. Women are miserable. I think that's true. Men are miserable. That's definitely true. Okay? I'm saying on average. Now, So women, they fought for equal rights, and now they are miserable. Interesting. Maybe, hear me out, man. Maybe it's because they got the equal rights. Okay, that's kind of an oversimplification, right? They didn't really get equal rights. Women don't have the same job opportunities as men. They don't get paid at the same rate. That is a fact. So that's what happened. Okay, women got the equal rights, and yet they're still miserable. Maybe it's because the reason women and men are miserable is because the system that we're working in is not good, not fun. It's sad, actually. It's sad and depressing. How can we change this? Maybe we should get women to go back into the kitchen. Maybe that's how we do it.
Completely got rid of it. It brainwashed women into believing that submitting to your loving, protective husband and raising a family was a patriarchal bondage. It's a patriarchy, it's bad. But instead, submitting to a fat, balding middle manager at a soulless company for 40 hours a week is actually empowerment. They encourage women to trade the divine crown of motherhood.
Well, that's what men do. That's what we all do to get for the job. Like, yeah, man, we all have managers. Okay, like, yeah, it sucks. Okay, women going back to the kitchen isn't gonna change that reality. Okay?
For a useless email cubicle job and the sterile validation of a corporate career that will just replace them with an H-1B in a heartbeat. Because the media, the universities, and the culture constantly pumping their heads full of propaganda telling them that their mere existence is a gift to the world. They treat men like expendable, disposable utilities.
Dude, throw the propane tank down there. What are you doing?
Into believing that they are literal queens. They demand the absolute world from you while bringing absolutely zero value in return. For example, go to any city, open any dating app, walk into any bar. You will see these aggressively mediocre 4s and 5s walking around, an absolute Gorlock the refrigerator, absolutely convinced in their delusional minds that they are 10s. They demand a 6'3", muscular, rich Chad to
Dude, this shit is so... I hate the negativity, man. It's so fucking stupid. Like, why? Why do you hate women so much? Why are they like this in your mind? Like, dude, women are just people. Do some of them have unrealistic expectations, right? Like, they're... they want to date out of their league. Yeah, okay, of course. Of course. Men do this as well. Do you think that they don't? Why? Why do you think that? I've known men that... I've known men that were dog ugly. That thought that they deserved like a fucking supermodel, okay? Like, straight up, like... and the thing is, like, I'm not going to tell that person. I'm not going to be like, bro, you're... unless, like, they're a very good friend, okay? I'm not going to be like, actually, you're dog ugly, bro. Like, you can't bag her. You can't do it. I'm not going to do that, okay? I'm not going to be a dick about it. That's it, okay? I'll let them figure it out for themselves. It ain't my business. Okay, as long as they aren't, like, doing anything inappropriate, pursuing someone out of their league, I couldn't give a fuck. Okay, it's whatever. But anyway, like, people do this. It isn't exclusive to women. I actually think that, like, I think that men are well, I don't know. I was gonna say that men, like, have an advantage at bagging women out of their league. Because I feel like women are more willing to look past your ugliness if you have a little bit of charm. And at the same time, I think that every man is a 7, right? Any man can be a 7 if you go to the gym. Okay, I think that women beauty standards, it's a little more out of their control. Okay, not totally. But, like, for men, like, if you go to the gym, if you get jacked, even if you're 5'4", even if you're 5'2", okay, if you're a short king, you can be a 7, bro. I'm telling you. It's true. I'm spitting right now, okay? I'm speaking facts.
To start jester maxing for them by paying for expensive dinners, validating their
cortisol levels spiking.
All the while they bring nothing to the table except a terrible attitude, a shockingly high body count, and a bunch of psychological baggage from daddy issues or past relationships that have nothing to do with you. But that is only the beginning. To truly understand the minefield that you are navigating. Minefield meaning, if you step around anywhere, you could just blow your fucking leg off. You're cooked. You're done. You're finished. You have to be careful. We have to talk about the issues with the modern dating market that made this environment uniquely lethal for men specifically. Now, the people who created this societal decay didn't just stop at the welfare state and feminism. They also brought technology into the mix. Social media. This is a big issue that's just exposing and highlighting hypergamy, for example. Now, let's look at dating apps, for example. When you look at something like Tinder or Bumble or Hinge and even Instagram, even though that's not specifically a dating app, I am still going to mention it, you are not looking at tools that are just designed to help people find lifelong partners. It would be nice if that's what it was, but it's not. You're looking at sophisticated algorithms that were designed by tech executives who generally share the same anti-American, anti-family, globalist worldview because Silicon Valley...
You hate America!
These are designed to keep you addicted.
You don't think... You contradicted me! You hate America!
Have artificially inflated the female ego to a level that is historically unprecedented. The term that we use nowadays is called hoflation. Very accurate term. Basically, it means that a woman thinks that she is much more desirable than she actually is. But going back to the dating apps, let's look at the data that's coming out on like Tinder and all of them. The top 10 to 20% of men are getting 80 to 90% of the women. Women are all swiping right on the exact same small pool of elite guys. Meanwhile, the guy can swipe on 100 girls.
Dude, tell me you're an incel without telling me you're an incel. Oh, that is so sad. That's so sad, man. Oh, women only want the Chad. Women only want the... Dude, do you talk to any women? Have you ever talked to a woman? Have you seen some of these women's boyfriends? Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, it's the... Look, it gets your foot in the door. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sure. Okay, but like... But it's not the end-all, be-all. Like, these guys, they hyperfixate on this shit, and it's unhealthy, and you're encouraging it, Jimmy. You are spreading this, like, this mind virus to your audience, okay? You're encouraging this. Women are just normal people, okay? They're different from you, but they're a lot like you in many ways, and they're not... This isn't happening. This isn't what's happening, man. Okay, women don't just want the Chad, the jaw maxing, frame mogging Chad. Okay, with the cortisol levels spiking. You are insane. You're delusional. I'm sorry.
Probably not even gonna reply to him. But it gets
I
worse.
feel bad for
Because of
you,
Instagram
man.
DMs, dudes with blue
I
check marks
mean,
with
I
a lot
would
of money
feel
and
bad
clout
for
can now
you
just
if you
bypass
weren't
the entire dating market. A millionaire athlete or a rapper
insane
or an influencer can open
racist.
his phone, find a cute six living in a small town in Ohio or anywhere, and literally just fly her out to Miami for the weekend. This completely ruins the local dating ecosystem. This girl gets flown out,
man.
and she gets her back blown out by Chad on a yacht, who lives a billionaire lifestyle. And also, for her to experience this billionaire lifestyle, she did absolutely nothing to earn for maybe 24 or 48 hours.
Dude,
then she gets put on a
delete this video, man. Delete it. This is so cringe. Actually, keep this video up. Keep this video up. This is so cringe.
On Spirit Airlines.
I love this shit.
Her baseline for reality is
Wait, let's get a replay on that.
Or anywhere, and literally just fly her out to Miami. This completely ruins the local dating ecosystem.
Chad flew her to her
She gets
yacht.
blown out by Chad on a yacht, who lives a billionaire lifestyle. And also, for her to experience this billionaire lifestyle, she did absolutely nothing.
Oh, man.
Maybe 24 or 48 hours. Then she gets put on a coach flight on Spirit Airlines back to her hometown. Her baseline for reality is now permanently warped. She then goes to a bar back at her hometown, her small town, or whatever. She looks at the hardworking plumber or the accountant, who are both good guys, and they make $75,000 a year, but she thinks that he's a pathetic loser because he can't fly her out to Miami, or let's go to Dubai. Well, I can't really afford that. Well, you're lame then, because I know another guy that can, even though that Chad is done with her. She fully expects, though, to walk down and marry the caliber of guy who just used her as a weekend toy. Well, of course, that never happens. Chad doesn't wife up the girl he flew out for the weekend. So, what happens?
So gross, man.
She hits the wall at 30, and she dies alone. Social media didn't create this behavior on its own,
woman.
but it just put female hypergamy on steroids, and it fully exposed their inherent
he just lost. Dude, how do you lose in Dark Carnival? Yeah, on the fucking Modern Warfare. Yeah, bro. Yeah, good job. Oh man, I can't. If I were both a perma-virgin incel loser and I was this bad at video games, and my channel were stagnating, and my right-wing YouTube channel were stagnating, just kill me. If I were Jimmy, just fucking assassinate me, please.
You are specifically, but
holy
I
shit.
would argue that you're probably not. Let's take into account right now, Tom Brady. This is the best football player the best quarterback to ever play football. His wife, got with another guy. He's not married to her anymore. We also take Cristiano Ronaldo, very good soccer player, one of the best in the world, one of the best in history.
It happens,
His
man.
wife is posting thirst traps on Instagram all the time. These are high caliber men. I think that's what happened to him, but it's happening.
Well, isn't that kind of a flaw in your logic, though? I guess not. The Chad just uses the woman. Okay, trad relationships are dead. Yeah, man. Look, relationships they fail. Okay, it happens. Actually, most romantic relationships fail. Okay, it's normal. It's sad. It sucks when it happens. Nobody likes breakups, whether you're getting dumped or you're doing the dumping, or you're dumping all over them. Okay, it sucks. Okay, it's not a good time. But it happens. Marriages also fail. Okay, it happens. It's not really it is a symptom of a failing society, but like divorces happening that by itself is not it's going to happen. Okay, people are going to get divorced. People should be allowed to get divorced. Okay, back in the day, people did not get divorced. Okay, women were hostages in their marriage. Okay, that's the way it was. And divorces didn't really happen all that much. But it wasn't just because the woman was a hostage. It was also because life in America, it was easier. Okay, climbing social mobility, it was more accessible. You could get a job at McDonald's and save for a few years and buy a car and a house and with the picket fence, okay? You could, straight up, like on a minimum wage job, you could reasonably afford a home, a car, 2 cars on 1 income. Okay, try doing that now. Yeah, no, you can't. Okay, and that's what's going on. Okay, with that being said, rich people, okay, their relationships fail too. Okay, they may seem immune from these problems, right? But they're not. They're not, because when society sucks, it doesn't just suck for the oppressed, okay, for the oppressed class. It radiates, okay, it propagates. You know, it reaches the elites as well. Okay, not as much, and the more elite you are, the more immune you are from it. But yeah, a professional football player, like, first of all, they have fucking brain damage, just like you, because you were a football player. Okay, they all have fucking brain damage. Yeah, it's more, if you have brain damage, it's a lot more likely your marriage is probably gonna fail. Okay, it is. And in other professions, it's, you know, a similar thing. Okay, like CIA agents, right? They have like a 30 times divorce rate or some shit. Like, it's crazy. Okay, that's how it is. CIA agents, they live pretty comfortable lives relative to the rest of us. You know, that's a high skill job. That's a fairly high paying job. And yeah, they get divorced a lot more. But generally, divorces, they spike during economic downturn. Not necessarily, okay, but that's like generally a trend. Okay, money, it stresses people out. Money is a big driver of divorce. Okay, that's it. Anyway, moving on.
So in the days of the old contract, a woman's dating pool was just limited to her community.
I can't believe this shit is an hour long. Holy
fuck. She had to choose the best available man that was in her actual vicinity, not some guy that was across the country. And she had to settle down and build a life. But as we just discussed, nowadays, a completely average woman, a 4 or a 5,
yeah, and she wasn't allowed to leave,
and instantly have access to a global catalog of thousands of men. And because men are biologically hardwired to cast a wide net, because they produce millions of sperm every day, but a woman does not produce millions of eggs every day, this is why it works like that. This then creates a hyperinflated marketplace. Again, like I said, Gorlock the refrigerator thinks that she's a 10, where average women are receiving validation from doctors and lawyers, athletes, and top-tier men who only want them for a single night.
Like, I hate this argument about the men, they produce the sperm, and the women, they produce the egg. Like, yeah, I mean, this is the way that all mammals sexually reproduce. Okay, it's not just humans, but other animals have very different sexual hierarchies than we do. Interesting. So, you know, not everything is about the sperm count versus the egg count. Okay, man? Like, it's not, okay? It's not the fucking end-all, be-all. Like, men, they date around? Sure. Women do this, too. It doesn't mean it's bad. This is not an argument. Okay, this is called an appeal to nature. Okay, and just because something is natural doesn't mean it is better. Furthermore, whether or not this kind of behavior is natural is entirely debatable. And actually, I would debate it. Okay, I think that naturally humans in the past have formed before agriculture, before the dawn of agriculture, hierarchy didn't exist on the same scale, right? That it kind of does now. Okay, like with agriculture came hoarding, wealth hoarding. Okay, and that's where kings came from. You did have, sort of hierarchies in tribes that varied in tribal society. But anyway, humans were pretty chill back then, back before agriculture. And people, they didn't really mate for life. Okay, humans didn't do this in the before time. Okay, and we do now, generally. And you're kind of noticing a trend where people are like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. Mating for life isn't really seen as so virtuous anymore. But anyway, I'm not even making the argument that monogamy or mating for life is bad. Okay, but if we're gonna talk about what's natural, well, even pre tribal groups, right? Like humans generally traveled around in tribes, but it wasn't really the main method for mating. Okay, the way that humans mated, that researchers believe, and I'm no expert, and it was so far back, it was before, we're talking about before written language, before all that shit, okay, before record keeping. But researchers, I think they believe that humans would run into each other in the wild, and they would have a child, and they would stick together for around 3 to 5 years, and then one of the parents would dip. Sometimes man, sometimes woman, or maybe one more than the other. We're not really sure. Probably. But I think that this whole idea is based on fossil record. Okay, there's that's the main evidence for it. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, but that's the way that researchers think it worked. And it was just not like mating for life. Okay, it wasn't. And in fact, naturally, most mammals. Actually, I don't think any mammals other than bonobos, right? They don't mate for life. I think foxes mate for life, right? And then there are some species of birds, okay, avians. It's not really like a universal thing. It's not natural, okay? It's not. And again, that doesn't mean it's bad, okay? Monogamy isn't bad because it's unnatural, okay? I'm not saying that.
Validation
moving on.
Completely warps a woman's perception of her own market value. This is hoflation on steroids. She then begins to genuinely believe that because a man in the top 20% of making a lot of money or looking good is willing to sleep with her for one night, she is actually entitled to a commitment from a man of that caliber. This is the 80-20 rule of modern dating that I would even argue that might even be 90-10 nowadays. But we'll stick with the 80-20 because that's a classic number. 80% of women are fiercely competing for the top 20% of men, while ignoring the hardworking, blue-collar, foundational American man who's probably a good guy who actually wants to build and maintain
the hardworking man like
an entire
me.
generation of women that are perpetually chasing a bigger, better deal. This is hypergamy on steroids.
Yeah, man.
They are
You're such a hard worker.
Good, honest man, because their Instagram.
I can tell from how you suck at video games. You must spend all your time at work.
Just one swipe away. You can't build a stable tradition.
I'll be right back.
With a woman who has a digital roster of 50 beta male
I want some coffee.
validating her every time she posts a picture of herself. You just can't. Her capacity for pair bonding has been destroyed by the dopamine machine of social media. Now, if it isn't clear enough already, what exactly is hypergamy? Well, hypergamy is the biological, evolutionary imperative for women to pair bond with a man of higher status, resources, or just better genetics. It is actually in their operating system. Women do not love men unconditionally like your mommy does. They love men for the condition of what they provide. This is why people like Genghis Khan back in the day, they had a bunch of war brides. They had like 20, 30 wives because they were able to take over everything. They were able to provide for them, and they just took the women away.
Huh? Huh?
Love men unconditionally like your mommy does. They love men for the condition of what they provide. This is why people like Genghis Khan back in the day, they had a bunch of war brides. They had like 20, 30 wives because they were able to take over everything. They were able to provide for them, and they just took the women away. Whether they liked it or not, I'm not.
Whether they liked it or not. Yeah, man. Yeah, no. It was because they enslaved them. Okay, the Mongols, they did this. Okay, they enslaved them. They like the women the wives that you're talking about were basically sex slaves. Okay, it's really fucked up. But like, yeah, I mean, they gave them food and shelter. Okay, yeah, great, dude. When women heard that the Mongols were coming, the Mongols were a ruthless army. They killed everyone. They were unstoppable. Okay, they were really good at killing and war. Okay, there were reasons for this, but I'm not going to get all into it, and I'm not an expert in it or anything. Women would kill themselves before when they heard the Mongols were coming, because they knew the city was going to get sacked. Okay, and they just kill themselves. Like it just hold on. What are you saying? What are you saying here?
Correct.
I'm not saying it's morally correct.
Genghis Khan back in the day, they had a bunch of war brides. They had like 20, 30 wives because they were able to take over.
Because they were such strong men.
Do not love men unconditionally like your mommy does.
Yeah, no, man. The Mongols didn't get all of these wives because they were strong men. They got them because they were psychos. They were psychopaths. Okay, and they lived during a time where being a psychopath meant you just kill everyone and rape and pillage. Okay, so not much has changed. Okay, but anyway.
They love men for the condition of what they provide.
I'll be right back.
This is why people like Genghis Khan back in the day, they had a bunch of war brides. They had like 20, 30 wives because they were able to take over everything. They were able to provide for them, and they just took the women away. Whether they liked it or not, I'm not saying that that's morally correct. It's a horrible thing, of course, but that's just how it worked. So modern day translations, if your status drops, or if you lose your job, or she meets someone with a bigger platform or a bigger check, is more money, her loyalty will evaporate.
Yeah, man. This isn't true. Okay, let me get a replay on it before I commentate over it.
So modern day translations, if your status drops, or if you lose your job, or she meets someone with a bigger platform,
meets Chad,
check, is more money,
she goes and fucks Chad.
It's not hate from her either. It's just nature.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just nature. Listen, man. You are making women seem like they are all one person. Okay, like, are there women that date opportunistically, like the way that you're describing? Yes. Okay, of course. You know, men do this too, in a different way. Maybe not materialistically, perhaps, right? But what do some men want? Okay, they want a trophy wife. You know, they're I would say a majority of men, even in our society, where we raise pretty fucked up men, okay, generally. Most men, they just want, like, you know, a nice girl that's maybe kind of a doormat, okay, but, like, you know, just like a kind person to be their wife and like talk to and like share interest with and whatnot, and you know, just be a lifelong partner. Similarly, most women, they just want a guy that's maybe kind of a little toxic, right? Kind of an asshole. Okay, I'm speaking generally. You know, I'm not talking about every woman. And you know, they just want a guy that they can talk to and share their interests with, and like a guy that's like kind most of the time, but is also like sometimes kind of a dick. Okay, that's just what I noticed. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, some women, they want materials. Okay, they are opportunistic, right? They want like they want to get something out of their relationship. you know, sometimes this is they do it in like an ethical way, okay, a not so fucked up way, you know. I think as long as you are like genuine in your feelings, you're not like you're not like marrying into money, okay, which people do. You know, they like, you know, lie like, oh yeah, I'm so into you, okay, for the money. Okay, that's fucked up. But like this just isn't the majority of women. Just like how a majority of men aren't looking for a trophy wife. Like, do men do this? Yeah, of course they do. Of course they want like a woman to like show off to their friends and be like, look at me, look who I bagged. Okay, that's it. Like there are opportunists in every corner. Okay, women are not like this. But anyway, with that being said, the idea that is at all equitable to what the Mongols did to women is insanity. Like the women, they weren't like the women that were like I said, enslaved by the Mongols. They weren't like opportunistic, okay? They weren't like taking advantage of an opportunity set in front of them. Like, oh yeah, now I can get free food and shelter. Like no, man. The Mongols killed their family, killed their husbands, and then enslaved them. That's what happened. Okay, I'm not a historian. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that's my understanding of what was going on. Okay, and like, you know, it's a sign of the times, right? Like it was a different time. Okay, it was a much different world back then. But like that's it. Okay, with like the idea that like the women were getting something out of it, that's insane. That's insane, man. That is like, I don't know. What else do I say? What else is there to say about it? Okay, I'll be right back. I want some coffee.
You are just a temporary placeholder until someone better comes along. That's the unfortunate reality. That's how women have been hardwired through the evolution of humans. It is what it is. But let me go back to social media real quick. I just wanted to explain what hypergamy was for a real quick second. Now, let's go to the absolute degeneracy of modern hookup culture and how intimacy was turned into a cash grab, just like the other apps were. We're going to go even further into this, though. We are right now living in a society that normalizes, even celebrates a platform like OnlyFans or whatever else other ones exist, where women sell their body or their feet for $5 a month. Hey, $5 a month, come look at my butthole. That's crazy. That's crazy. They're praised also for doing this. You're an entrepreneur, girl. They're praised for that, for behaving in ways that would have historically resulted in deep societal shame and being outcasted. You need to understand a brutal biological truth. A woman who has participated heavily in modern hookup culture, for example, a ASU sorority girl who's going to school for nursing, big hoe, who has given herself freely to dozens of men, or who has sold her body online, is deeply and fundamentally damaged when it comes to forming a traditional marital bond. You cannot turn the community bicycle.
All right, sorry for pausing it again. He said something. I can't even remember what it was. What did you say?
Who has given herself freely to dozens of
men,
or who has sold her body online, is deeply and fundamentally damaged when it comes to forming a traditional marital bond.
Yeah, man. So, like, your insecurity is showing. Okay, it is. Like women, women be fucking. Yeah, men be fucking. It's only a problem, though, when women do it. Because it has been ingrained in you that women are property, and when they have sex, they're getting used up. Okay, and that's the way you see it, and their bodies are being soiled. Okay, that's not how it works. Okay, women are not like broken because they have sex with someone or multiple people, just like men. So that's it. You are insecure if you believe this. You are. You're saying like, if my woman has sex with people other than me, then that must mean there's like something wrong with her or wrong with me or something, and it's not true, man. It's not. Anyway, let's get a replay on that. Let's get a replay on that.
Going to school for nursing.
ASU sorority girl.
Given herself freely to dozens of men, or who has sold her body online.
That's a Starbucks school.
Damaged when it comes to forming a traditional
she is deeply damaged. How?
Community bicycle into a private jet. You can't take a woman who has spent her entire 20s absorbing radical feminist ideology riding the cock.
See, this is the idea of like purity, you know, pure like women they must be pure when they have sex. They are not pure anymore. I do not like it. Okay, they must be pure. Look, women are just people, man. They be horny. It happens. Okay, it's whatever. It's not a fucking. It's not anything. It should not be a concern of yours at all. It's just kind of weird. That's it. Okay, like yeah. If I meet a woman and like and she's already had sex with someone before, that's not like I should not talk to this woman. I should not consider dating this woman. That's crazy. And you are severely limiting your options, by the way, when you do this, which is one of the many reasons you will end up a Rizless chud.
Carousel of modern degeneracy and disrespecting men in society, letting them disrespect men, and suddenly expect her to flip a switch.
Disrespecting
at the age of 30,
men.
Become a loyal, submissive, cooperative wife just because you bought her a ring. This reminds me greatly of the e-girl trad wife grift, which is one of the most dangerous traps out there for any nationalistic, dissident right-wingers, such as the people who watch this channel mostly. As these modern women hit the wall, meaning they reach their late 20s or their early 30s, their beauty begins to fade, their looks begin to go away, and the top-tier men stop responding to them, they enter what we call the epiphany phase. You will see these women online who paint a picture of themselves. I want to portray myself as have someone of purity, modesty, and religious devotion. They act like they're waiting for their traditional prince, but they're really just waiting for the next sucker to come along and ignore her past. For example, look at the absolute disgrace of the Sarah Stock situation. Here was a woman who built an entire massive brand on being an e-girl, being the ultimate pure tradcath girl. She talked constantly about saving herself from marriage and the beauty of the faith and about submitting herself to a husband, and she even managed to get a blessing from the Pope himself at her wedding. You know how much of a big deal that is? And what was the actual reality behind closed doors? She was fucking her boss the whole entire time. And her boss, who was apparently a traditional Christian conservative as well.
Damn. It'd be your own. It'd be your own, bruh.
While in a relationship, well engaged, and probably right up until the moment of the wedding. This was all a calculated performance to gain clout and extract money.
Yeah, damn. I wonder why a woman that is like so performative in that way would do that. Yo, that's so crazy, bro. Yo, it must be because women be whores, and it's because society allows them to have sex. That's why. It's because they are not really pure. Yeah, man. Oh, well.
Attention more than they love virtue and honor. They are not like us. They do not have the honor thing that men do. They simply don't. I'm here to tell you that. These e-girls and conservative influencers use the aesthetic of religion and traditionalism as a lure to attract a simp beta male orbiter who is desperate to believe that good women still exist. They aren't trying to build a family. They're just trying to build up a follower account and monetize your desperation.
All right, so what's your solution then? What's your solution? We need to legislate women back into fucking servile roles. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, I'm sure all the women that have already been granted suffrage will be cool with that. I never understood the whole women being a virgin. Okay, so if a woman must be a virgin, then who are these men having sex with since they are not virgins? Other men? LOL. No, you're missing the point. It's asymmetric and intentionally, and like they are aware of it. They admit it. You know, it's not like fairness doesn't matter. Like they're the fuck like what they're gonna say is it's biological, it's natural. Men have the sperm. Sperm is many, and women have the eggs. Egg is few. Okay, do you understand? And it's stupid on multiple levels. But I think that the most direct approach is to just call it an appeal to nature, because it is, and that's a fallacy in logic. That's a logical fallacy. So, and you know, by the way, I'm assuming you just got here, but I was talking a few minutes ago about how it's not even necessarily natural what he's talking about. Like it's debatable whether or not monogamy and mating for life in humans, whether or not that is actually natural is up for debate. And there's, substantial evidence to the contrary, actually. It's most likely that humans didn't start mating for life and getting married until the dawn of agriculture 10,000 years ago, when we started planting crops and harvesting crops and hoarding food and forming social hierarchies with the king at the top and the peasants and the slaves at the bottom. Anyway.
Look how many simps were in Sarah Snock's comment section all the time. If you don't believe me, well, I'll pretty much tell you, since she deleted all of her accounts, it was a lot. For a lot of these girls that want to pivot to the traditionalist thing once they're 30 and they're done with OnlyFans, suddenly the independent girl boss lifestyle isn't so glamorous once they start getting old.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a woman and you do this, you suck. Don't do that. Okay, just be yourself. Don't be ashamed. Don't let these men fucking shame you. Don't let them make you believe that you are a soiled whore because you had sex with other people. That's weird. Okay. Men like this are insane, and it's unfortunate that they are in the dating pool at all. Okay, but they are, and in that respect, like I the thing is, like, I don't want these guys to be alone forever. I don't want that for them. I don't want that for anyone. As funny as it may be, as like ironic as it may be, it's not good. It's not good for society. It's not good for anyone. Okay, so like I want them to date someone, but their expectations are like the woman has to be a virgin and yada yada yada, and obviously all of this shit is unrealistic. So, I don't know. I don't really have a solution for this. Other than like we need to just make society more equitable in general. Like we need to do wealth redistribution, because then everybody won't be so miserable all the time. If everybody is like comfortable and secure and in like their finances.
The clock is ticking. The biological clock is ticking. You stop producing eggs after a while. Suddenly, coming home to an empty apartment and a cat is not fulfilling anymore. So what do? They just rebrand. They put on a sundress and they start talking about traditional values, and they go hunting for a beta male bailout. They go hunting for a traditional, conservative, hardworking American man who has been saving his money and building his own life up. They want to extract the benefits of the old contract without ever having lived by its moral prerequisites. Don't fall for this. Don't fall for this grift. If her past is a chaotic wasteland of modern degeneracy and hookup apps and selling feet pictures and butthole pictures for $5, her future with you will be a nightmare. Eventually, she's going to divorce you and take all of your shit. And alimony, which is, again, enforced by state-sanctioned thugs with guns to come to your door and put you in a cage if you don't give her money for the rest of her life. Women are chameleons. They will adopt the aesthetic of whatever man they are trying to extract resources from. If a girl's history doesn't match her current aesthetic, whatever she decides is good for her to get a man, she's a trap. Don't look at her Instagram post or her cross necklace. You have to actually vet her.
Dude, this shit is so insane, bro.
If you know where that comes from.
Bro.
She's going to clubs and she...
I said earlier, I was like, just delete this video, bro. And then right after, I was like, never mind, this shit is funny, okay? But like, bro, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? LOL, it's not feasible. We have urges around 12 to 14. Who the fuck will ignore and suppress that until they are married? It's human nature to have sex. I sort of agree with you. Okay, 12 to 14 is kind of young to have, and I'm not saying it's like wrong for 14-year-olds to be horny. Okay, if they are horny, whatever. But I wouldn't say that's the norm. I don't think it is. I think that's kind of early. I think for the average age for men to lose their virginity is like 17, and for women it's 16, something like that. And that could be due to like societal conditioning. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. But like, when you want to know what I was doing when I was 14, man? You want to know what I was doing? Sort of. LOL, nature was intended for teens to have kids because their chances are extremely high but I don't agree with being a young parent, though. Yeah, a common misconception. You're wrong about that. Okay, I'm sorry, Donut. You see, people today, they seem to think that like people died young in the ancient times, and so they started having kids when they were like teens, when they were like, or even preteens. Okay, no, that's not how it was. Okay, and if you don't believe me, do some research into it. Okay, people in the old days, in the before times, right? I'm talking before medicine, before society. Okay, when we were sitting around campfires, people routinely lived to live to be in their late 50s, their 60s. Okay, people lived to be pretty old. Okay, not quite as old as today. Okay, most people today live to be like 72 or whatever. And in some countries, even older, like 80, like in Cuba. But basically, like the biological clock for when we start having kids, when we have families, and when we die, it has kind of always been the same. Okay, but child mortality rate used to be a lot higher. So people would have more kids, and those kids would die, and those dying children drove down the average age. Okay, and that's why, like in the 19th century, before modern medicine, when they were recording life expectancy, you would see average life expectancy of like, in the 30s, right? And so people weren't really dying in their 30s. Most people that survived their childhood would live to be, 50 or even 60. Okay? What has changed when it comes to having children is the family unit and monogamy, right? Like lifelong partnerships. That's a newer thing. Okay, but like yeah, I mean, and look again, 14-year-olds, they be horny. Okay, me personally, I was playing Minecraft. Okay, I wasn't really into women when I was 14. I was like, yeah, nah, I'm just play Minecraft, bro. And like that's the way I would. I think that's how most people are, but that's just what I think. LOL, I'm not agreeing that we should be parents at 13. Yeah, I know you didn't say that, but it's perfectly natural to have those urges. Yeah, I think it's like, I wouldn't say it's normal, but I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. Anyway. There's not one person that didn't have urges at 12 to 13. We've all done it. That's why we have so many teen pregnancies, because we lack the education in the South. Yes, I strongly agree with this. Again, I still think that like most kids around that age, I think you're just a few years off, and that's probably because you were young when you started experiencing this. You were a little bit ahead of your peers. Okay, that doesn't mean there was something wrong with you or whatever. It happens. Okay, but anyway, that's why so many teen pregnancies, because we lack education. My family didn't inform me about sex, but guess what? I found out. LOL. I'm from an older generation. We didn't have Minecraft. Yeah, I don't know if that was it, bro. I don't know if it was because of Minecraft that I think I was just like a kid, and I was like la 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 la, and I just did, like, I knew what sex was. I found out about sex when I was like 11 or 12. I just thought it was kind of gross. I didn't want children. Okay, I really didn't want kids when I was younger. And I mean I still don't. But not because like I don't want to have children and that's it. It's because I don't want to pay the money to raise a child. But anyway, even if we're not informed about sex, the body knows what it wants. What turned me off was when we had sex ed and they showed us STD. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I agree. That's fucked up, by the way. That's fucked up. I don't really remember. We did have sex ed in middle school. I don't really remember it that much, though. I remember they told us about contraceptives and abstinence, and abstinence is the best contraceptive, and blah, blah, blah. And they didn't really go into detail about other contraceptives, not that much anyway. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I was informed about sex. I knew what it was. I just wasn't interested in it because I wasn't horny for it yet. But different people at different ages, they start experiencing this. I think that a majority of people are like a little older than you were, than like 12 or 13. Okay, I think that's mostly the way it is. But lots of people do experience what you did, and they start feeling that earlier in life. That's normal. I mean, it's not like normal as in like more often, but like, yeah. Anyway, even if we're not informed about sex, oh yeah, I already read that. Yeah, and that's, I agree with that as well. Like, I was informed, and it wasn't like my body didn't tell me that I wanted that. Okay, so that's it. Okay, but anyway, moving on.
She's racking up a body count for a decade. And
Yeah,
suddenly she just puts on a floral dress to find a partner when she's 29 or 30 years old. She's not a trad wife.
You old busted up ass whore. Yeah.
Now, again,
Yeah, you tell her, Jimmy.
So I'll stop talking
tell
about the trad
her.
wife thing. I hope the idea's in your head now, but let me go back to feminism and what they've told men to be. If you look at mainstream media and the fashion industry, so gay and stupid, or these globalist-funded think tank articles, they're pushing a narrative that masculinity needs to evolve. Some skinny shrimp dick.
No, not really. Not really. Feminism isn't about changing femininity, and it's not about changing masculinity. Okay? It's not about women good, men bad, women need to be girl boss. Like, no. Feminism is about equality. Okay? Material equality. Okay? So, back in the day, women were basically enslaved by their husbands. They were hostages, like I was saying earlier. They couldn't leave. Okay, I'm being a little hyperbolic. Okay, I'm being a little hyperbolic. But like, it's true, okay? Women, they couldn't just initiate divorce. They couldn't get out of an abusive marriage. That's it. Okay, they couldn't. And also, they couldn't, even if they could get a divorce, they couldn't get a job anywhere. They weren't allowed to have jobs, okay, for the most part. And there were some exceptions, but job opportunities for women were extremely limited. Extremely. So, anyway, feminism was just about fixing all that shit. And that's it. And women, they, now they can get jobs, and they're finding out, just like how men find out when they grow up, that working sucks. It all sucks. We hate it. Everybody hates it. The problem must be that the women are working. Yeah, man. I don't think that's the problem.
Doesn't lift it all and has low T is telling you.
It's because they're whores. That's it.
Man with his useless email job or his useless consultant job. They tell you that historical masculinity, which was equated with, historically, strength and stoicism and being resilient and being dominant.
Stoicism.
Well, actually, buddy, that's toxic. This beta male, low T...
You don't know what the fuck stoicism is. Don't fucking talk about Look, I think stoicism is kind of stupid. Okay, I do. I like stoics, right? I like the stoic types. I'm not one of them. Okay, I'm not one. At least not anymore. I used to be more stoic. But anyway, like, you aren't a fucking stoic. Listen to yourself. You yap all the time on the internet about stupid bullshit that nobody cares about because you're a perma-virgin incel idiot, and you think that's stoic? Is that what you think? Huh? Like if you're gonna preach about masculinity, in stoicism. I would imagine that you probably think of yourself as a good example of these things. How the fuck are you a good example of those things? What the fuck?
Guy who can't lift more than 20 pounds on a bicep curl, for example, they claim that leaving room for emotional openness and being vulnerable, that's the new path forward. I actually know how to be a man, even though I haven't been on a date in 5 years because girls think I'm a fucking pussy. Anyways, they'll parade around and tell you all this. These people with their useless jobs will be around all these rich people and celebrities. They're wearing dresses and expensive jewelry, and they hold up actors in therapy as the new gold standard for men. These are the people that we need to listen to? I don't know about that. They want you to integrate feminine traits into your personality. So do you understand what this is, what this feminine, gynocentric, feminine, longhouse, egalitarian, warped worldview is? Well, it's not cultural progress, that's for sure. What it actually is a deliberate and hostile subversion of your natural instincts.
Tours.
It's a psyop. It's just designed to pacify you. It's make you easier to control. A nation of men who are emotionally hypersensitive reminds me of that video of the fat guy with the looks like a lesbian saying it's okay for men to cry. It's okay to be weak. Guys who constantly complain about their trauma and men who are obsessed with being vulnerable. That is a nation of men who will not fight back when their rights and their wealth and their borders are stripped away from them. Go look at my video on the useful beta male archetype. The globalist most useful
I mean, look, men be crying. Men be crying. It's not that big a deal. You know, everybody fucking cries, okay? It's like that. That's all it is, man. Like, if you are a man and you feel shame about, like, not being masculine enough, right? Having, like, feminine traits or whatever, having a few feminine traits, that's wrong. You shouldn't feel ashamed about normal shit. I just, like, I don't know. I don't know what to say, man. Like,
that's pretty much what the
what else is there?
Well, they want you weak. They do it on purpose. They want you soft because they know that a stoic, hard-minded, fiercely independent man, like most of the people that watch this channel, can't be easily corralled into a gay and stupid 15-minute city or making them eat the cockroaches. You know, you will eat said bugs and you will live in the pod container. You know, you'll own nothing, but you'll be happy. They tell you to express your emotions openly to women, but the harsh biological...
No, man. The elites of society, the puppeteers, they actually want the opposite, man. Believe it or not, okay? They don't want men to be docile. They want men to be fucking psychopaths that want to shoot and kill so they can send us to die for Israel. For oil and Israel. That's what they want, unironically, man. That's what that's obviously what they want. The fuck are you talking about? Yeah, they want us to be mad at the Muslims and then we go kill, okay? And to get the oil. That's what it's about to them. They want the fucking materials. They want the natural resources. Okay? And, you know, of course, the wave of refugees, that's like, you know, that's a nice addition. You know, a new exploitable immigrant underclass. Okay? Of course. But, like, that's what it is, man. Okay? They want us to die for Israel. Okay? Fucking weak, baby hand men aren't gonna go die for Israel. They're not going to do that. Stupid, manipulatable, psychopathic, testosterone man. That's who's going to go kill the Muslims for the oil, man. That's it. Okay, so like who wants this? Who you need to be specific. Okay, who are the elites that want us to be soy pilled? Beta baby hand, okay, soft hand losers that can't bench 150 or whatever. Who is it? Who is it? How do they benefit from it? Like, be specific, please. I'll wait.
Logical reality is that the moment you break down and cry in front of a woman, the moment you make her your therapist for whatever ungodly reason you decide to do that, you need to, by the way, you should only be venting to your boys. Or, you know...
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, you shouldn't talk to your lifelong partner about your feelings. What are you, fucking gay? Yeah, man, your marriage is going to fail. This is exactly why you want to enslave your wife, Jimmy, because if you got married with this attitude, your marriage wouldn't last a year. Fuck, it wouldn't last a month. What the fuck? Yeah, just never talk to your wife about how you feel, ever. Why? Why the fuck would you? So you'll tell the whole internet about how you feel about Chad stealing your Chad fucking your girl because you're a beta, but you won't talk to your wife about, like, I don't know, your shitty day at work. Like, why, man? It feels like your priorities are like a little. Something's not right
Whatever,
here.
but
I don't
biological respect for you
understand.
just plummets afterwards. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. They'll say this shit because I need a man who will open up to me. They say that, but let me translate that womanese into real nigga speak. What that actually means is I want a guy that I can easily control. Besides, what it probably even more so actually means is that I want to look good. I want to look like I'm charitable and nice. I
Holy
like
shit! He died again, so he's going to another game, bro. How many times? We're 30 minutes in. This video is almost an hour and a half long, and he got destroyed in that other. What game was he playing? He kept Left 4 Dead. He died in Left 4 Dead, so he started playing Modern Warfare. He kept dying in Modern Warfare because he sucks. Now he's playing. What the fuck is this?
But that's not just.
I've seen this before. This game actually is kind of cool, but I think it takes a lot of skill. I don't know, the control. It's like QWOP, right? I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. It's like one of those games where, like, the controls are hard, but, like, once you get good at it, it's like you can do a lot of finesse. You know what I mean?
Women are hardwired to seek a rock.